Good morning to you, kids of faith. I'm so excited that I get to teach you this morning, that I get to spend some time with you. My name's Jake, and if you don't know me, I actually regularly work with our middle school and high school students, but this morning I get to spend some time with you, which is pretty cool because we're actually in a series, or you guys are in a series, that's one of my favorite things to talk about. It's actually about one of my favorite characters in the Bible. In fact, Moses may waver back and forth between my favorite character and the top 5 of my favorite characters. But I really like Moses' story for a lot of reasons. But I also can sometimes point out different parts of my life that look a lot like Moses, which is kind of what we're doing through this whole series, actually. And so far, you've talked about baby Moses being put into the Nile River and then ultimately getting found by the queen's or the Pharaoh's daughter, right? The princess of Egypt got to raise Moses. And then you learned a little bit about his upbringing and then ultimately kind of his disgrace that got him kicked out of Egypt, but allowed him to meet God in the wilderness. And then once he met God, he returned to Egypt and he led God's people out of Egypt through 10 plagues that God sent to Egypt. And this morning, we get to talk about how Moses is leading God's people in the wilderness. And here's our big idea. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it's this: God helps us help other people. And that's what we're talking about today. So before we get into Moses' story, let me ask you this question. It's a scale of 1 to 5, and so you can use your fingers. I can't see you, but you should do it anyways and pretend like I could, right? And so a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being it would be very hard and I wouldn't want to do that, and 5 being absolutely I'd jump off the couch and help right away. But I want to ask you just a couple of questions, scale of 1 to 5. Or would you want to help in this situation? And so here's the first one. This one maybe is easy to answer, but is actually maybe a tougher one to do. And so here's this one. Would you, your dad, your mom needs help picking up the dog poop in the backyard? Are you jumping up off the couch to do that right away? Are you saying, no, not so much? What are you, 1 to 5? What about this one? You're with your grandparents, you're at your grandparents' house, they just get home from the grocery store and they need help bringing groceries inside. 1, not gonna get up and help grandma. 5, oh, I'd be up so fast to help my grandma. What are you gonna be, a 1 to a 5? And maybe you're like, I'd be a 3 and I'm gonna do it all in one load and I'm gonna do the awkward shuffle in the room, right? Because that's how I like to bring in the groceries. I'm not gonna do it where I have to make more than one load, because more than one load is a waste of time, right? And so what about this one? Your mom asks you to set the table for dinner. Is that something that's, oh, I'm gonna jump right up and do that? Or probably not so much. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna help? What about this one? You've got a younger sibling who needs a little bit of help with maybe their math homework or English or whatever subject you actually like to do. Because if you're like me, the math side is a lot easier than the English side. Because even though I speak English, I'm not good at it, okay? And so your younger sibling needs help with an assignment. Let's say in your favorite subject. Let's make it a little bit easier. Are you gonna jump up and do that right away, which is a 5? I keep doing it backwards. Or are you going to be like, no thanks. What are you gonna do, a 1 to a 5? Right, and so today what we wanna talk about is our big idea, that is, God helps us help other people. And here's the reason why I give you some simple examples like that off the top. Because I think it's actually a lot easier when we're young, like your age, to go, I'm gonna say yes to helping in these ways. That way when I'm older, I can say yes to maybe more challenging things, right? Because I personally think yes is kind of like a muscle that we gotta work out. Because if we say no all the time, and if we're not willing to help people, now, in the future, we're not going to be willing to help people either. And so as an elementary schooler, I want to challenge you with today's message to practice saying yes, to practice hitting pause on the game, to practice whatever it is to get up and help other people. And then that way when you're older, it becomes more natural because you like people that help you, I like people that help me, and I like to be a person that helps other people, and I'm sure you would too. So start practicing that today. We're going to talk about some ways you can practice that at the end of today, but what I want to do first is I want to tell you a little bit more about Moses. So last week we saw the Israelites exiting Egypt and they got into the wilderness. They were set free. You would think that people who had been in bondage their entire life, like everybody who traveled with Moses, had never been free before. They had always been in slavery. They had never known what freedom felt like. And you would think the minute they got out, they would celebrate. They would praise God. They would tell their children for generations about what God had done for them. But the opposite is true. In fact, they just started complaining right away. Check this out. This is Exodus chapter 15, verse number 22 is where I'm reading. So not only have they exited Israel, but you know the big deal story if you've been around church for a while. Moses parted the Red Sea and they crossed on the Red Sea. And then this happens. It says this, then Moses led the people of Israel away from the Red Sea, and they moved out to the desert of Shur. They traveled in the desert for 3 days without finding any water. When they came to the oasis of Marah, the water was too bitter to drink, so they called the place Marah, which means bitter. The Israelites were not known for being creative. Verse number 24. Then the people complained and turned against Moses. What are we going to drink? They demanded. So Moses cried out to the Lord for help, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. Moses threw it into the water, and this made the water good to drink. Right? They get out of Egypt. They are freed by God. And then they see the Red Sea split, and they walk across on dry land, and God has continued to deliver for them. And then they wander around, can't find fresh water for 3 days, and they immediately go, why have you taken us out of Egypt? I would rather be a slave than just die out here totally parched. What are you doing, Moses? And why have we followed God out here? And what I love is Moses cries out to God, and God helps Moses help the Israelites. And it's a simple thing. This water is gross, and Moses throws a stick in, and it all of a sudden is good. I don't know how it happened, but God did another amazing thing for the Israelites. And later they actually complain about not having food. And what's amazing is God brings bread in the morning that just kind of appears. And you know what's interesting is when the Israelites woke up, they walked outside and they asked the question, what is this? And then they named the bread manna, which means, what is this? Which, by the way, like I said, Israel wasn't really known for their creativity, were they? And so then in the evening, they wanted meat, and so they cried out for meat, and God brought quail. In fact, I love this in Exodus chapter 16, verse number 11. It says, then the Lord said to Moses, I have heard the Israelites' complaints. Now tell them in the evening you will have meat to eat, and in the morning you will have all the bread you want. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God. Check this, verse 13. That evening, vast numbers of quail flew in and covered the camp, and the next morning the ground was wet with dew. What we love about that verse right there is vast numbers of quail. They had a quail storm. I think that's so funny that these little chicken kind of birds just totally filled the camp. You want some meat? Here, have all the meat that you can possibly eat, right? And then God gave them instructions. The instruction was, trust God that he'll give you the bread you need in the morning and the meat you need at night. And don't collect more than you need for one day, because if you do, it's not going to last. And that's what happened. People tried to collect more and it went bad, because the lesson was they needed to learn to trust God. And we've been talking about that, how God helps us. But today's big idea is that God helps us help others. And in fact, later on in Exodus chapter 17, they're looking for water again, and God helps Moses provide water for the Israelites. See, what I love is every time Moses needed help leading the Israelites, God delivered. And so here's what I want to do now, is I want to ask you this question. Who in your world needs help? Who in your world needs help? What I want to do is I want to challenge you after today's video to just spend a few minutes thinking about the people in your life that you could help. And maybe it's a grandparent or an older neighbor who needs help with their lawn being mowed or needs their gutters cleaned before winter comes, because all of a sudden this first big rain came this week and all the gutters are overflowing. Maybe it's a younger sibling that your parents need help with keeping an eye on while they run to the store, or maybe they need help keeping an eye on them or helping them with their homework. Or maybe you've got a teacher who needs some help, either by some encouragement, going, hey, I know you've never done this before, and teaching on a webcam is weird. And maybe your teacher needs some encouragement, or at least needs you to be a model student in the classroom. Who in your world needs you to help them? So spend some time after you finish this video today. Ask God to show you who in your world you can help, and then let's practice saying yes. Let's practice flexing that yes muscle and say, yes, God, help me help these people. Let me pray for you. God, thank you so much that you give us stories of people like Moses, that you tell us about people who love you, and that you give us an opportunity to love others. God, can you give us your eyes and ears to see the people that need help, and can you give us your courage to help the people who need help? We love you, Lord. It's your son's name we pray. Amen. Hey, with that, get to making that list, and we'll see you soon.
Listen, I don't care. You can tell the mayor he just lost 10 votes. Hey there, everybody. Sorry, I'm just super busy. You see, I got a lot of things going on, and I don't think I have the time to go through a Bible story. I really want to, but one of my friends, they're in trouble. I'm gonna do all I can to make it better for my friend, but I'm having a hard time. Well, tell the governor I need help. I don't know what to do. Oh. TJ.
Carl, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Unfortunately, not a good time right now.
Oh, no, man, what's up?
Well, it's complicated. Maybe I can call you back?
Oh, what's going on? Maybe I can help.
Well, like I said, TJ, it's complicated. My buddy is needing help, and well, I'm trying to find it for him.
Well, is there anything I can do or help you with, man?
I don't think so, TJ. I'm gonna try a couple things, and if that doesn't work, maybe I'll call you and see what we can do.
Okay, if you say so, man, I'll talk to you later, man. Good luck.
Thanks, TJ. All right, now let's think of all the ways I can help someone. Listen, I want to talk to the president right now. Mr. President, listen up. My buddy needs help. Hey, did you just hang up on me? No. 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 Yes? No. Give me a sign. Just give me a sign. Oh, hey, TJ.
What's wrong, Carl? Still no answer for your friend?
Nope. I'm having no luck whatsoever. I don't know how to give him the help that he needs.
Well, I think we should take a break and let's talk about the story for today.
I don't think I have time for it.
I think you'll be surprised. You remember how God used Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt last week?
Yeah, Moses listened to God and the Israelites were saved from slavery in Egypt, and they were finally free.
You're absolutely right, Carl. But after a while, the Israelites were wandering through the desert, following Moses, and believe it or not, they started complaining.
Complain? What do you mean?
Well, they were hungry and tired and thirsty, and they started questioning God.
What? God saved them from Egypt. Why would they doubt that?
I know it's hard to comprehend, but Moses heard all of their complaints and grumblings.
Well, TJ, what did he do? Did he go find help? Did he give up? What did he do?
Well, let's look in the Bible.
All right. Exodus. No! No! Wow.
Right? Exodus is full of so much stuff.
A lot of people who need help too.
So you read about the people who were needing water and food, right? And about those who were grumbling and complaining, right?
Yeah, they definitely needed help, but the person who helped them was...
Moses.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when Moses saw his people, his friends, needing help, he asked God for help.
Yep.
But it came down to Moses helping the Israelites. Because Moses loved and listened, he was able to help them.
You got it, Carl.
Wow, that's awesome. God helps us help others.
You know what's also awesome? You just said our big idea.
No.
Our big idea is God helps us help others.
So let's say it out loud on the count of 3. Ready? 1,
2.
3.
God helps us
help others.
others.
Yes. Good job, everyone. Yoo-hoo. Wow, that was really good.
What was good?
I guess it's just good to know that God uses us to help other people.
It really is, isn't it? Real quick, who was your friend that needed help anyway? And what was going on?
It's my buddy Spot. He was having a hard time deciding between some...
Wait, Spot? Carl, you talking about Spot, your dog?
Yeah, of course. He's my best friend.
Oh, Carl.
I mean, it's fine that my dog is my best friend. All right, kids. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.